Car mechanics are the worst people on the planet. Seriously, I don't know what I hate more, car mechanics or eating glass. I know some of you are offended right now and are gonna say, hey man, my Uncle Rick is a car mechanic. Well, Uncle Rick can okay, fine. Let me at least explain why car mechanics suck. Mechanic shops try to do anything they can to make as much money from you as possible. They look for issues that don't even exist and prey off your lack of knowledge about cars to trick you into paying for unnecessary stuff. It's like they see a customer coming in for a basic oil change and think to themselves, oh yeah, I'm about to make a killing off this idiot since they obviously don't know anything about cars and I'm the all-knowing car master after all. It's the only business in the world where they glee in filling you with fear by telling you that your car is about to blow up in 6 seconds if you don't let them do everything they recommend you need. But the reality is, you actually only need something minor, not a new freaking car. But they'll have you believing you need a new ding flap ratchet mount that is necessary to hold your bing boggle loop switch in place or else you'll die. Seriously, like, I just came in for an oil change, man. Why are you telling me about the fiery death I'm gonna experience if I don't switch out whatever gold-plated air filter you just mentioned? I go in expecting to drop like $40 on some basic maintenance and end up getting quoted like $1,200 for some random crap I never even heard of. And the worst part is when you drop your car off and they do the extra work without even telling you. You drop your car off, leave, they say they tried to call you, do extra maintenance, you go to pick your car up and they hold you hostage by saying you either have to pay for all the extra work or wait like 5 more hours while they undo everything you didn't even want. You end up paying just for the convenience of leaving the damn place. Bunch of scammers! Let me tell you about the time I got royally screwed by some sleazy mechanic. So I went in, as mentioned, for a simple oil change. Keep in mind, I'm doing this at almost 1,000 miles ahead of schedule. I'm trying to be proactive because I can't afford a breakdown. I try to stay on top of my scheduled maintenance so I can keep costs as low as possible and prevent early on major problems with my car. Anyways, I get to the shop and walk in. First off, the place just reeks of cigarettes. I swear, these guys must have been taking fat bong rips of tobacco all day with how bad this place smelled. No one was in the main lobby when I got there, so I took a seat on some old ripped up red fake leather chair next to a candy dispenser with like 9-year-old M&Ms in it. After a while, some leprechaun looking bearded dude comes walking in from the garage area. I stand up to walk over to the counter and he just looks at me like he was trying to figure out if I was the next idiot or not about to drop a fortune on some BS I didn't need. The guy smiles at me like he was Jafar in disguise and says, hello my friend, what brings you in today? I know these guys are no good, so I try not to drop my guard. I kept my best poker face on and told the guy, listen here pal, I normally do all my own car work, but I'm a bit busy this week, so I figured I'd drop it off at the shop since it's some really basic stuff I need done. He lifted his eyebrows if he was on to me and said, of course, my friend. What is this really basic service you need? I could tell by his shit-eating grin that he knew I was full of it. I panicked a little and said, I just need an oil change. And it was at this exact moment his eyes lit up and I could see the freaking ka-ching dollar signs in his eyes. This guy knew damn well that if anyone knew how to work on a car, they wouldn't be bringing it in for a damn oil change. You could do that shit at home in like 20 minutes if you actually knew what you were doing. The problem is, I actually don't know anything about cars, and this guy knew it now. I played my hand and lost. I was like a floppy little worm getting put on a hook, and he was about to fish my ass into the deepest, most shark-infested waters he could find. I knew I was in for it, but what else could I do? I needed a damn oil change. Anyways, the guy asked for my keys and told me to wait in the lobby while he brought my car into the garage to check it out. I obliged, gave him my keys, and took a seat. About 30 minutes went by, and this dude comes walking back in with what looks like the biggest shit-eating grin I've ever seen, holding what looks to be a filter of some sort and some other thing I can't even make out, shaking his head saying, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you, my friend. I stand up out of the chair and try not to show panic and ask him what it is. He says, you're going to need a transmission flush, new filter, new spark plugs, and a new radiator. Otherwise, your car won't make it until the next oil service and we'll have to just crush it out back right now because the car will pretty much be totaled if you don't get this stuff handled right now. I squinted my eyes as I stared at this con artist in disbelief. I could smell the horseshit as if it were smeared right under my nose, like a dirty Sanchez. When I brought my car in, there was no check engine light on, no weird sounds, no issues starting or stopping, no issues with the car in general, at all. And yet this little guy has the gall to stand here without the slightest bit of hesitation or remorse and lie to my face about some BS, trying to steal all my hard-earned greenbacks? To top it all off, the car is fairly new too. I barely got it like 3 years ago. Granted, it was used, but it was a certified pre-owned, and I hadn't had any issues with it prior to this. So to think it had all this crap wrong with it when it was fairly new seemed pretty scammy. I wanted to tell the guy where he could shove it, but before I could say anything, he just walked back out into the garage. I wasn't sure what that meant, so I just kind of paced back and forth for a while until he came back in wiping his hands saying, "All done." I was confused by what he meant. He couldn't have been gone longer than about 10 minutes from when he dropped that bomb on me about all the stuff my car needed. He put my keys on the counter and then typed a few words on his little computer and then goes, with labor and parts, that will be $1,587. What? Almost $1,600? I never agreed to all that. I just wanted a freaking oil change. I told the guy I didn't want any of that extra stuff, and he just shrugged and said, "I had no choice, my friend. If I didn't do all that, the car wouldn't be legally operational, and I would have to have it towed out of here. It is either this, or you have to get a new car." I didn't know what to do, so I just paid the guy and got out of there. I figured I could call the police or some other organization, and they could help me out. I just wanted to get out of that damn place before he decided to mess with my car for real and make it inoperable on purpose. I wouldn't put it past this guy to not do some shady crap like that. So I paid the guy, he brought my car out to the parking lot, gave me my keys, and I hightailed it out of there. I was so pissed, but I was determined to seek justice. I was going to call whoever I needed to make sure this guy couldn't get away with this stuff anymore. Think of how many other people he's scammed over the years. Someone needed to put a stop to this guy. Well, about 5 minutes on the freeway, boom! A huge cloud of smoke shot out from under my car hood, and my car completely shut off and began to slow down. I was freaking out. I pulled over to the side of the road as fast as I could. When I stopped, I got out and ran to the front of my car to lift the hood to see what was going on. When I looked under that hood, you're never gonna believe what I saw. The idiot forgot to put my oil cap back on, and oil shot up from out of the engine. All that scalding hot oil shot out of the engine and exploded all over the rest of the engine, completely frying it. This motherfucker! In the end, I ended up having to get the car towed back to my place where it sat there for the rest of its days. I was never able to repair it because it would have cost me more than it would to just get a new car. I ended up getting a new car, and come to find out, the police weren't able to do anything. Apparently, there's some auto mechanic organization like the Better Business Bureau called the Bureau of Automotive Repair that you can submit complaints to, but they just took my complaint and never did anything. And just like that, I was out $1,600 and a car. Absolutely no justice whatsoever. That asshat mechanic was able to get away with everything, completely scot-free, and I was left to deal with all the loss all by myself. I'm not sure there will ever be a change, but there is one thing I do know. Car mechanics suck fat donkey nuts.